The servants of Dr. Rajendra Prasad thought that Gandhiji also was a peasant and untouchable. Gandhi decided to go first to Muzaffarpur, which was en route to Champaran, to obtain more complete information about conditions than Shukla was capable of imparting. So, Gandhiji decided to first go to Muzaffarpur, which was on the way to Champaran, to get more information, complete information about the conditions Shukla was not able to impart, to tell him every detail. He accordingly sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kripalani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had seen at Tagore's Shantiniketan school. So, accordingly, because he wanted to go to Muzaffarpur first, he sent a telegram to Professor J.B. Kripalani of the Arts College in Muzaffarpur, whom he had met at Tagore's Shantiniketan school, Rabindranath Tagore's Shantiniketan school. The train arrived at midnight, 15th April 1917. Kripalani was waiting at the station with a large body of students. Now, the train reached at midnight on 15th April 1917, and Kripalani was waiting at the station to receive Gandhi with large body of students, with large number of students, with a crowd of students. Gandhi stayed there for 2 days in the home of Professor Malkani, a teacher in a government school. Now, Gandhiji stayed there for 2 days and he stayed in Professor Malkani's house, who was a teacher in a government school. It was an extraordinary thing in those days, Gandhi commented. Now, Gandhiji said that it was an extraordinary thing to stay in a government teacher's house, in a government employee's house, for a government professor to harbor a man like me. It was extraordinary. It was not common for a government employee to give shelter to a man like Gandhi. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. Now, in the smaller localities, people generally, the common man, the common Indian man, where the Indian people, they were afraid to even sympathize or show support to the advocates of home rule, that is, the followers or the propounders of the home rule. Anyone who was into this movement, people used to stay away from them. The news of Gandhi's advent and of the nature of his mission spread quickly through Muzaffarpur and to Champaran. Now, the news that Gandhiji was reaching Muzaffarpur and he had gone there to solve the problem of the sharecroppers, this information spread quickly in Muzaffarpur and Champaran. Sharecroppers from Champaran began arriving on foot and by conveyance to see their champion. Now, the sharecroppers, they started arriving at Muzaffarpur to meet Gandhiji on foot or in any conveyance that was available to them. They all wanted to meet Gandhi. They were very eager to meet and tell their problems to him. Muzaffarpur lawyers called on Gandhi to brief him. They frequently represented peasant groups in court. Now, the lawyers in Muzaffarpur also, they called on Gandhi and they briefed him. That is, they told him everything they knew about the problem of sharecroppers, because they were frequently representing peasant groups in courts. They told him about their cases and reported the size of their fee. They told Gandhiji about their cases and also told Gandhi about the fee that they charged. Gandhi chided the lawyers for collecting big fee from the sharecroppers. Gandhiji scolded, rebuked the lawyers for collecting big fees, taking big amount of fees from the sharecroppers. He said, I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts. Taking such cases to the courts does little good. Now, Gandhiji, he came to the conclusion that it was of no use to go to law courts. Taking such cases to courts did no good. It was just useless. Where the peasants are so crushed and fear stricken, law courts are useless. Now he said that where the peasants were so crushed, they were so suppressed and fear stricken, they were so scared, they could not stand witness against the landlords and the white people. They were so afraid of them. It was no use, it was just useless to go to the courts. The real relief for them is to be free from fear. The real relief, the actual relief that they could get, the actual respite that they could get from the problem was by becoming free from fear. They should be set free from the fear of the Britishers. Most of the arable land in the Champaran district was divided into large. Now, most arable is land which is fit for cultivation. Most of the arable land in Champaran district was divided into large estates owned by Englishmen and worked by Indian tenants. Now, the cultivable land was divided into big estates, that is, big land holdings, and they were owned by all Englishmen, Britishers, and the work on those fields was done by Indians. The Indians there were tenants. Tenants are those people who pay rent and occupy the place. Here the Indians were working on these fields, they were cultivating these fields, and they were paying rent to the landlords. The chief commercial crop was indigo. Commercial crop is something which can be sold and money can be raised. For business purpose, crop grown for business purpose. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 3/20 or 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. Now the landlords, the Britishers, the English people who were owning those lands, they forced the tenants to grow indigo on 15% of the total land. And the entire crop of indigo was to be given to the landowners as rent. This was done by long-term contract. This practice had been adopted long time back, and that had continued till then. Presently, the landlords learnt that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. They thereupon obtained agreements from the sharecroppers to pay them compensation for being released from the 15% arrangement. Now, Germany started making synthetic indigo, which was much cheaper. So the Britishers now were not interested in the 15% indigo that was being grown by the Indian sharecroppers. So what they did, they told them that they will free them from this binding of growing 15% indigo on 15% land, and the farmers will have to give them compensation for this. So he made the Britishers made them agree. They made agreements with the sharecroppers that the sharecroppers will give compensation to the Britishers, to the landlords, white landlords, and in return they will be free to grow any other crop, not indigo, on the 15% of land, as they were doing up till then. The sharecropping arrangement was irksome to the peasants. Now, this arrangement of growing 15% indigo was quite troublesome to the peasants. They did not want to grow indigo on 15% of the land, and many signed willingly. So many peasants, they signed willingly to get themselves free from growing indigo. Those who resisted engaged lawyers. Now, those who did not sign those agreements, they engaged lawyers. They did not want to change and they did not want to give compensation. The landlords hired thugs. When the peasants hired lawyers, the landlord hired thugs. Thugs to bully and to harass the peasants. Meanwhile, the information about synthetic indigo reached the illiterate peasants who had signed and they wanted their money back. Now, the peasants also came to know that Germany had manufactured synthetic indigo, and because of that only, the Britishers, that is the landlords, they were making them sign the agreement, and they did not want the 15% indigo crop which was earlier being grown by the peasants, the sharecroppers. Now, and they had taken compensation from these peasants. Those who had signed and given compensation, they wanted their money back now. They wanted the Britishers to, the landlords to return the money they had taken as compensation. At this point, Gandhi arrived in Champaran. Now, this was the point when Gandhiji reached Champaran. He began by trying to get the facts. First, he visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. The secretary told him that they could give no information to an outsider. Gandhi answered that he was no outsider. Now, Gandhiji started to find facts first. He first of all visited the secretary of the British Landlords Association. The British landlords had formed an association, and Gandhiji went and met the secretary of that association. The secretary told him that they could not give information to an outsider. They considered Gandhi as an outsider, and Gandhiji told them that he was not an outsider. Next, Gandhi called on the British official commissioner of the Tirhat division, in which the Champaran district lay. And then after this, when the secretary of the British Landlords Association did not cooperate, Gandhiji met the British official commissioner of the Tirhat division. Champaran was a part of it. The commissioner, Gandhi reports, proceeded to bully me and advised me forthwith to leave Tirhat. Now, the commissioner also started intimidating Gandhiji, started bullying Gandhiji, and he advised Gandhiji to leave Tirhat. Gandhi did not leave. Instead, he proceeded to Motihari, the capital of Champaran.